It's incredibly frustrating when you're just trying to learn and it's this dude going like,
Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and install this repository to this directory here using sudo apt.
and you're just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on, dude? That was some of the most frustrating shit when I was learning Linux. Folders in Linux are just called directories. It's these tiny little nuances. If you're completely new, there's going to be some growing pains, but it's just because it's different. Don't freak out. I'm going to teach you the very basics to be a really effective Linux user on your way to a power user. So how do you install Linux? Now I'll talk about why Pop! OS is the one I recommend for new users a little later on, but let's just figure out how to install Linux real quick. So you're going to go to pop.system76.com. You're going to click this download button. Now here, if you have an NVIDIA GPU, go ahead and click the one that says NVIDIA, obviously. The one above it is going to be for anything else. That's one of the benefits of Pop! OS. They took care of the drivers for you. Don't worry about it. Next, we're going to go to Etcher's website. Just go ahead and download this. This is going to be the software you use to create installation medias for Linux. Just go ahead and install this just like any other program. And while we're waiting, let's go ahead and talk about why I like Pop! OS for new users. Actually, any user for that matter. Now there's a lot of different distributions, and a distribution is just what flavor of Linux do you want. This distribution just does a great job of mitigating a lot of the headaches that new users might run into. Does that mean that this system limits you in any way? Hell no, dude. At the end of the day, Linux is Linux, and you're allowed to do whatever the hell you want. It's just that when you're new, you're so used to doing it one way, so it's really difficult for someone to kind of merge into a new operating system. There's just the right amount of different to not overwhelm a new user. So go where you downloaded it and install it just like any other program. Select Flash from File and select the ISO file that you just downloaded from the Pop! OS website. I put mine on my desktop, so just select it. Click on Select Target. That's going to be the USB that you just plugged into your computer. Now, you're not going to see one on mine because I don't. I'm just showing you how to do it. Okay, so here's our installation media we just created. And we're going to plug this bad boy into the computer that we want to use Linux on. Oh, would you look at that? A computer I want to use Linux on. Now you can install Linux on whatever you want. For me, I'm going to put it on this tiny little USB. I don't recommend you guys do this because this USB is slow as balls, but it's low profile and I don't want to use Windows 10. You can dual boot your main storage. I'm just too lazy, and this is a tutorial deal with it. Once the drive is in, go ahead and power up your machine and hit whatever corresponding button gets you into the BIOS or the boot menu. For me, it's going to be F12. Okay, so here I've got two options, Microsoft or that USB I just put in. Obviously select the USB. Go ahead and hit try or install Pop! OS. You can run Linux on the installation media you just used before you install it onto whatever drive you want to use. I know what's happening on screen is probably scary. It's not. Linux just shows you everything that it does. Okay, we're in. I'm going to go ahead and switch to screen recording. And if the resolution looks a little different, don't worry about it. I am on a virtual machine for the recording. Production level eye candy, you know what I'm saying? Now just to show you real quick, just click clean install. I'm going to click that small USB I was telling you guys about earlier. Talking about this little guy right here. Now if you're doing a clean install, just make sure you know exactly which drive you're using because it will take over the whole drive. Select erase and install and just put in your information, whatever you want to use. Go ahead and use the world's strongest password. For me, I'm going to put 1234. Doesn't matter. I'm on a virtual machine. Encrypt your system if you're on a laptop. It's just better security, and if you're a human, you're not going to notice any speed difference. Go ahead and get some coffee, and you're just going to wait for the installation to complete. Awesome, we're done installing. Go ahead and restart your computer, and when you boot back in, make sure you select the drive you just installed Linux to. If you're worried about how to do it, just hit shut down and then remove that USB stick that you used to install it. And now just make sure you boot into the right drive. That's all it is to it, dude. The next video, I'm going to show you how to set things up. Alright guys, welcome to Linux.